town for anything. And you got to remember that back in the 1980s, Savannah was a ghost town, and not for the reasons we know today. Back in those days, you rolled the windows up, locked the doors, drove through real fast. But nonetheless, when this little bar opened, everybody came near and far to see what it could do. And before I tell you about that evening's events, let me tell you about the building itself. Only dates back to the early 1900s. Stood a building here before that, but it burned to the ground. And the only remnants of the original building is the downstairs basement, which is where our legend takes place. Now, at the end of the first evening, as the owner of the bar proceeds to gently nudge her guest out the front door, she kicks the waitstaff out the back, she locks everything up, and she goes downstairs to do all of her bookkeeping. Now, she's sitting down there, writing in the books, making sure everything's accounted for, the food, the alcohol, the money. She said she suddenly heard a door slam upstairs. Frank's her at first, then she figures, you know what, it's an old building. I got a lot of people upstairs. Maybe it got kind of hot. Somebody left the window open. The breeze blew through. The door slammed shut. No big deal. She keeps reading. A few minutes later, she said she began to hear footsteps on the landing above her head. She got a little nervous, but figured, old building, creaky floorboards, no big deal. She keeps reading. Then she said she began to hear the footsteps down the stairs. She writes it off as leaking. It takes her to go to the office, swing you up with so much force. Then knocks all the picture frames off of the far wall, shattering onto the ground. She sits there petrified. She said she begins to hear a slight hissing sound coming from the right. She looks over her hot seat, a big heavy wooden leather chair she likes to sit her employees in if she has to reprimand them for anything. She said she watched the seat just start to slowly decompress, as if somebody was reclining into it, letting a spurt of air out of the cracks in the broken ground. At this point, she's afraid, so she leans over to grab her phone, presumably to call the police, but she notices the phone isn't where it's supposed to be. Because now, it's hovering in midair, right beside the table. Now, people have paranormal experiences say the time stands still. Seconds become minutes, minutes become hours, that whole sort of nonsense. When in all honesty, it's probably no more than a few seconds. Don't worry, I get my alcohol for free. Jump up, get out to her car, take off down the street, see him lock the door. Next morning, she shows up with two of her early bartenders and they proceed to search the bar. Now, the first thing they find odd is that all these window panes here are frosted over with ice. Now, had this been the middle of winter, maybe we could have made an explanation, but it's the dead of summer and the AC is in the off position. She runs downstairs, she throws open the doors and expects to find a crime scene, and what she finds? Nothing. Room's completely empty. The money is stacked neatly on the desk, beside the telephone, as if it had never moved. There's a thin layer of dust on top of the chair where she thought she saw something sitting. And even all the picture frames are remounted back on the wall. Now, the only reason she knows she's not nuts is that the glass within each picture frame is still shattered. At this point, she thought maybe she bit off more than she could chew. When she opened up the old sixpence book. And ever since then, ghost stories have abound. You come in here, you can ask anyone their own tales. Bartenders will tell you about wine glasses that will slide off the table and smash on the floor. While kitchen staff will tell you about pots and pans flung from across the room from unseen sources. And some guests even said they'd seen a man simply dematerialize right before their eyes. Some people got around to calling this ghost by a name. Us.
Gus the ghost.
We can chuckle about this first story, but as I take you from haunted pub to spooky location, the stories will get darker. The legends will become more sinister. And ever so slowly, the sweet, hospitable nature of Savannah, Georgia will begin to melt away to reveal the true, dark underbelly that is the hostess city. As my good friend Pauline likes to say, welcome to Savannah! That's it for me.